Alright, this next distribution that I'm about to review has been rapidly gaining in popularity on DistroWatch. It is based on Arch Linux and it aims to be very user-friendly. I'm speaking about Manjaro's snapshot of 087, and we're going to look at that right now on Spatry's Cup of Linux. You know, I've got to love a distribution that has full out-of-the-box support for VirtualBox. And here it is, Manjaro Linux. And I'll tell you what, kids, I've had an opportunity to play with this for the past few months in VirtualBox, and I absolutely love this distribution to bits. As a matter of fact, I decided to actually install this on my computer. Now, interestingly enough, when I did get my new computer, I installed Linux Lite on it. But originally, I wanted to install Manjaro on the system, but there wasn't any really good support for the Broadcom wireless driver that my laptop has until now. And so that was the only thing that was really holding me back. But now that there is sufficient driver support for all of my hardware, I'm very pleased to run this, as I'll explain to you in today's presentation. Okay, upon first glance, you're going to see that you have a nice welcome screen here, and this is very important that you may want to read through some of these things here. Though this is a user-friendly distribution, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this to beginners. I recommend getting your feet wet in Ubuntu for a few months before tackling this one. But if you want to jump into a rolling release model such as this, you know, and you don't mind digging through a little bit of documentation, and maybe participating on IRC or in some forums to get your questions answered, this might be a good one for you. So basically under documentation, it has a README file. A link here will give you some information on the new features that are available, plus a quick launch to the wiki, which is very well written. Not quite as comprehensive as the Arch wiki is, but the thing is, information that is in the Arch wiki can actually be applied to Manjaro Linux. So, you know, that's an added benefit that you have available to you. You have, of course, support through the forums, chat room. They also have mailing lists that you can subscribe to. You can also get involved with the project. Now, in this particular release, unlike the last one that I tried out and I installed in VirtualBox, I actually used the graphical installer and it seemed to work fine. But this time around, the graphical installer didn't work for me. I actually had to use the command line or CLI installer that's right here. But the thing is, the CLI installer is really easy to use. And I know they're still working some bugs out of this because this isn't quite a 1.0 version. This is 087, and they're working their way up to their very first stable release. And I imagine at that time they're going to have, you know, everything working perfectly. All right. If you look on the lower right corner of the screen, you have a option to log out. Battery indicator, volume control, internet, a clipboard manager, your time, and 2 desktops to switch from by default. Okay, and then on the lower left, you get the brand new Whisker menu, which is very nice. And interestingly enough for you guys, if you guys want to edit your menu, all you have to do is download and install a program called a la carte, which will allow you to edit your menu items and that sort of thing. And I'll actually show that to you once we jump over to my side, where I'll show you how I customize Manjaro to my liking. Okay, but let me give you a quick rundown of the applications that you get with this, and then I'll show you what I did with Manjaro since I've had it installed. And I've only had it installed for about a week now. Absolutely love it to bits. All right, in accessories, you get an application finder, an archive manager, bulk rename, a catfish file search, Clipman, a calculator, a Gedit, an HP device manager, great for printers too, because the HP printers usually work out of the box very well with most Linux distributions. You have a note-taking program, Orange Global Time Screenshot, a sensor viewer, task manager, and of course the Thunar file manager comes preloaded with this, nice and lightweight. Okay, and in development, just some Qt assistance here, and these may become necessary, especially if you're going to be installing applications from the AUR that require some of these components. So that's why they're in here. In games, you only get the Steam client, but it's configured to work. And I'll tell you what, kids, the Steam client works amazingly well. Every game that I have in my library was able to download and run beautifully on this thing. Okay, in graphics, a simple document viewer, you get the GIMP and Vue Noir for viewing those images. In Internet, you get Firefox as your default web browser, Hex Chat for IRC communication, Pigeon, and of course Thunderbird if you choose to use those items. In multimedia, you get a ALSA and Pulse Audio volume mixer. You also get the VLC media player, XFburn, and Xnoise. In Office, you get the full LibreOffice suite along with a dictionary, Orange Calendar, and Orange Global Time. And then, of course, all of your settings that you'll need to configure this are located right here. And in this little menu that you're seeing here, you can access all of these individually, or you can click this little icon right here on the top of the menu, and you can access all of those settings. And I really like how this is laid out, and in a future video, I'm actually going to show you how to even add some things to this settings menu. Let's say later on you decide you want to install KWin and you want to be able to manage KWin settings. I'll show you how to put that in this menu. It's not that difficult to do at all. Alright, let's have a look at the Spatry side of Manjaro. You'll see that I've kind of tweaked things and it looks a lot different. Okay, well, I use KWin for all of my special effects, wobbly windows, the cube, and all that other stuff. There is a way to actually install install Compiz, but I really didn't want to do that because it kind of misbehaved a little bit when I actually compiled the Compiz mate files that are available from source, and it misbehaved a little bit. And the thing is, I'm really liking what KWin brings to the table, so I decided to use that for compositing and special effects. Now, of interest, I'm using GTK3 themes, which is great, and this is exactly what XFCE supports. So you can go on GnomeLook and get all kinds of really great themes for this, because unfortunately this doesn't come with a whole lot of different themes, especially for those of you who like the dark themes. You might want to do some surfing online because it really didn't include much of anything. But I also have a whisker menu that I have actually customized to my liking. A quick launch to Chromium. So I got rid of Firefox, and the first thing I did when I installed Manjaro on my system was I actually removed a lot of the software that came preloaded with this and swapped it out for stuff that I wanted to use. So, and that's typical with any operating system that I install. And you'll also notice instead of using Avant Window Navigator, I'm actually using the XFCE panel. I actually took some graphics from the decorator theme that I'm using, and this is called Area 51, which provides my window borders. And I actually took these graphics, and basically using my graphics editor, I use Fireworks, I actually made a panel that matches this. How cool is that, huh? And I also did some fun things with some graphics I found online and made my own Manjaro wallpaper. And of course I have a pretty cool little Conky theme that I found from the Noobs Lab website. So you gotta check out Noobs Lab if you want to see some of the really cool things that can be done with Conky. And you can download some of those Conky themes. Alright, and then of course I use Nemo as my file manager right here. Love it to bits. I have a system monitor here. PAMEC is your software center. And I want to take the time to show you this because what's really cool is, you don't have to open up a terminal like you would expect to do in an Arch-based distro to install things. So you don't have to, open a terminal and then issue pacman commands at all. So if there's something you're looking for, like maybe some new icons, you can type that in and it'll give you a list of them that you can install, and then just as simple as picking the icon you want, and then right clicking on it and selecting install, and then press apply, and it will actually install those for you. You can also uninstall packages with this as well, which is very neat. Now, something that did not come bundled with this, but is something that is available to you, and it is available on the open box edition, is a program called Octa-Pie. And Octa-Pie is also a great front end for Pac-Man, but I do believe it also has some limited access to the Arch User Repository, or AUR. So if you want to get that, you can actually go into the package manager here and search for it. And there it is. It gives you Octa-Pie, and then it also gives you a notifier that you can install. And what it'll do is it'll put an icon up here right next to your notification icon, letting you know that your system is up to date, and it lets you know that there are updates for your system as well. So that's another nice feature. And another really nice feature about Manjaro Linux that really won me over is the fact that it has this incredible tool called the Manjaro Hardware Detection Tool. Let me give you a demonstration of this in action, or simulated anyway. Let's pull out another shell here. Alright, so currently I'm running Linux version 3.11, the Manjaro kernel, but let's say I decide I want to downgrade to kernel 3.10. Well, there's a simple command that you have to issue. That is mhwd -kernel -i for install, and then like I said, I want Linux 3.10, and got to make sure I put sudo before that, or else it won't do anything. It synchronizes your package database before it does anything. And then what it's going to do here is it's going to list everything that it's also going to update for you. So not only is it going to install Linux, it's also going to install the Broadcom driver that I had a pain in the neck of a time to install on Ubuntu and getting working properly. And they have this driver in the repositories, and I was just able to download it and install it through PAMEC, or the package manager, and it worked. No fuss, no muss. I can remember spending about an hour and a half sifting through forums, trying this method, trying that method. You know, maybe it will work, maybe it didn't. This works. Okay, and then of course it will also install the Catalyst driver. I need the proprietary driver for playing my games on Steam, so this will actually update that. And of course you also use the Manjaro Hardware Detection Tool for installing proprietary graphics drivers, and if that's something you want, you definitely want to check out the wiki. They have it's very easy to find when you're on the wiki page, so just check it out. It's on the front page. There's a link to it. So it's also going to install headers, because obviously if you're going to be installing things from the AUR, you're going to need the Linux headers. It's also going to put in the NDIS wrapper for those of you using INF or INT files to run your wireless or any you know, networking adapters you may have. And then of course, because I'm running the non-free VirtualBox, this is also going to download and install the VirtualBox host modules for this as well. So pretty neat. I haven't seen any other distribution that will actually do this, where it will actually pull down all these dependencies. So in essence, once this is finished installing, I can pretty much boot into any kernel I want and then expect to have full support for everything that I'm actually running. So if I want to run 3.10, I can, and I don't have to worry about any graphics problems, or everything's just going to work. So this is a wonderful advantage, because you know you can install the long-term kernel, the 3.8, and it'll grab everything that you need for it, and you'll be able to switch to it and be able to run it without any issues whatsoever. And that is the really cool thing about Manjaro Linux, in that this really brings new meaning to user-friendliness just in the Manjaro Hardware Detection Tool. Absolutely amazing stuff. Okay, and of course they also have an update notifier here that keeps you up to date every time that you're going to be getting new packages into your system. So in essence, for those of you who are new, you may only need to use the terminal just once or twice, you know, to install your graphics driver, and then maybe to use the Manjaro hardware detection tool to install the kernels that you want. But other than that, you really don't have to use a GUI if you're just going to use you know, the standard packages that are in the repositories. But if you absolutely need something from the Arch user repository, that's just as simple as typing in Yowert in the terminal, and then whatever it is you want. So let's say you want to start ripping your legally obtained Blu-ray discs. Well, then you're going to probably need a file called make mkv. And if I type Yowert correctly, it will launch. And you'll see there is only one package in there. And then, of course, if I select this, it'll download the package build, and then, of course, I can decide whether or not to edit the package build. I can tell you for a fact you don't have to edit it. It'll just compile for you on the fly without any fuss or muss. So, I mean, that's something that's very cool, that, you know, you can get anything that you want from there. You know, and, of course, Compiz is no longer in the repository, so if you do want, you'll use Yowert to get Compiz, and of course there are tons of different packages in here that you can install. So that just adds, you know, more functionality for you. You know, personally, any of these things that have a red marker on them are basically orphaned AUR packages. So some of them may work, some of them may not. You can try them, you know, yeah. So all in all, Manjaro Linux was definitely worth the wait for me, personally, because, you know, this is what I initially wanted to install on my laptop when I purchased this as brand new. But because of the Wi-Fi problems, that was a kind of a deal breaker for me, because I didn't have a way to set up a wired hookup. Whereas this time around, I did have a wired hookup into my Ethernet port, and I was able to get it running and then easily get the Wi-Fi driver installed and everything. And I just cannot sing the Manjaro team enough praises. You guys did a magnificent job on this. I eagerly wait to see what you guys decide what else that you guys are going to do with this. But this is definitely a step in the right direction. In my humble opinion, I believe Manjaro Linux is the future of rolling release Linux as we know it today. Definitely check it out. It'll be well worth your time.